Hey, shalom, shalom. Shalom, 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 family, peace and blessings, shalom. And welcome to another edition of Maccabeestv. It is your brother. Hold on 1 second. Nah? Okay. Yeah. It is your brother, Priest Dan, representing Lions of Israel and Maccabeestv. Welcome to another edition of our show. Brief impromptu edition. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody is well. Um, Shout out to everybody that's watching on YouTube, and shout out to everybody that's checking it out on Facebook. And you guys already know the drill. As you come into the house, make sure you guys hit the like button and let me know that I can be heard. Just let me know that I can be heard. Hey, Divine, what's good? What's good? What's good? Shalom to you, Divine. Shalom to you. Shalom to you. Divine, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna text you the number where we're having, excuse me, not the number, duh. I'm going to text you the address where we're having the Passover, King. So you're more than welcome to pass through if you'd like to pass through. I know you have your chapter launch tomorrow. So I want to talk to you anyway about that. But you're more than welcome to pass through. I'll send you the address after I'm done with the live stream real quick. And we're starting about 6 o'clock, most high willing. So you're definitely welcome to come through if you like. Kayada, AOIC. You put it in PHI. I don't know what that means, but I'll say shalom to you anyway. Crown Me 13, shalom to you as well. I'm just kind of curious as to what's happening. Give me a second now. I'm kind of curious as to what's happening with YouTube been acting really janky for me lately. So I just want to make sure everything is good. D-Red, it's good, bro. It's good, bro. D-Red in the building. Shalom to you. Just give me 1 second. All right, all right, all right. Okay, all right. Yeah. All right, brothers and sisters. So, yeah, just a quick check-in to see how everybody's doing. Hope everybody is well. Warrior Lord, shalom to you. Malek Zaquan, shalom to you as well. Peace and blessings to everybody. As I mentioned before, welcome to another edition of Maccabeestv, impromptu edition. So really quickly, as always, I told you guys that when I start my videos, I would start off by just giving you brothers and sisters a brief rundown of things that I be taking, like different herbs, whatever that I take. I switch up a lot. For those of y'all that was watching the last video, I told y'all, like, I've been drinking a lot of sorrel lately. Okay. Here in the States, it's known as graviola, if you guys don't know. Not graviola, I'm bugging. It's known as hibiscus. Soursop is known as graviola here. Sorry about that. That's known as hibiscus. So I've been drinking a lot of that lately. I went over the medicinal benefits of it last time I was live, so I'm not going to regurgitate that right now. If you guys don't know what the benefits are of hibiscus, aka sorrel, and you might want to go and read up on it a little bit. And if you read up on it and the benefits benefit you, I would just tell you guys to buffer it with some ginger, maybe some mento seeds that are crushed, etc., to make it even a little bit more potent. To make it a little bit more potent for whatever it is that you may be taking it for. You can get the sorrel on our website. By the way, if you don't know where to get it, you can get it on our website. Our website is grassrootbotanicals.com. Not roots. It's grassroots, ROOT, grassrootbotanicals.com. You get the sorrel on our website. Another thing that I'm on as well, and I think everybody should have heard this by now, is moringa, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. You should be able to see it now. A little bit of a glare in here. Moringa, right? I'm taking moringa oil as well, all right? One day I'll sit down and go over the benefits with you guys as well, but you guys can do your own research. You can look into that and do your own research and see what moringa is all about. Very good for you. Very healthy, something good to have in your system, introduced into your system as well. Okay. So I just wanted to check in with the family real quick to see how everybody's doing. So this evening, we're having the Passover. I'm talking about our campus having the Passover. I saw some camps have the Passover yesterday. Like I saw, I believe Sakari had their Passover yesterday. And I think a couple of other camps too, they had their Passover yesterday. There's a lot of camps having Passover today. And I did see like there are 1 or 2 camps that are having Passover tomorrow. I already told you, brothers, that I'm not contentious on the dates. Claude, shalom to you, brother. Shalom to you as well. Hey, Claude, if you're not doing anything tonight, when I hang up, I'm going to text you an address, man. It's in the Bronx. It's on the other side of the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? You could come through, check me out tonight. We're having Passover, brother. You're more than welcome to come through. I'll text you the address when I get off if you're not doing anything tonight. I know you're a busy man, but today's the Lord's Passover. So if you want to come through, you're welcome, brother. You could be my guest. Yeah, so I see in some camps are going to have it tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not really contentious about when brothers are having the dates. It really depends on when you calculated the new moon coming in, obviously. And also some camps are actually using what they call intercalary month, and some camps are not. So that's why you'll see some camps having the Passover in April rather than at the end of March. That all goes into calculations of the calendar. I would suggest as Israelites, especially those of you that, are teachers or desire to be teachers, for you to understand the way the Israelite calendar works. You should definitely understand the way the calendar works and how it is that different camps come up with different dates for the Passover. You should understand that as a priest and as a teacher. Nobody should be in this truth looking to be a professional student. You shouldn't be in this truth 5 years. I'm not even going to give you, it should be less than that, but maximum, you shouldn't be in this truth 5 years. And if somebody if I come up to you and say we're having Passover March the 26th, that you don't have no earthly idea as to how we came up with the date. Or if another camp says they're having it April 27th or April 26th, that you have no earthly idea what we're talking about. You should not be in this truth more than 5 years calling yourself a teacher and you don't know what an intercalary month is, when it should be used and when it should not be used. These are all basic principles of being a priest, right? Being teachers. Like, all the ins and outs about Christmas before you came into the truth. You know all the ins and outs about Easter before you came into the truth. You know all these things. So the question I have to ask is that how is it that you know all these things, the who, what, when, wheres, and whys of all these things, but in your own culture, you just like a spectator. That's not the way it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to be spectators in our own culture. So it will behoove you, brothers and sisters, that by this time next year, that you all have a better understanding of why the Passover is kept the way it's kept. Like I said before, and I'll say again, the reason why you guys see varying dates on the Passover, as far as some camps keeping it in March, some camps keeping it in April, is what they call an intercalary month. An intercalary month. There's a whole science behind that, when you should and when you shouldn't add the intercalary month, when it would be too early to have the Passover, when so forth and so on. There's a whole science behind that. So I advise brothers to really educate yourselves on that. By this time next year, should we still be in captivity? All right. So you're more in tune with why we're doing what we do. Just give me a second, family. I'm drinking my sorrel, my hibiscus. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm on that, man. But again, the scriptures say in that day, which is the kingdom, when Hamashiach is here amongst us, we'll all see eye to eye. Whatever differences that we may have on certain small things, we'll all see eye to eye in that day. I know some brothers and some camps are more contentious than others, but I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Nobody is doing everything right. Everybody thinks they're doing everything right, but nobody is doing everything right. We all err in some place or another. That's why over the years, even the knowledge, I've been in this knowledge going on almost 30 years, and I've seen the evolution. I've seen the teachings and the breakdowns evolve over the last 30 years. But I remember when I first came into the school in 1992, we were taught that that was the be-all, end-all, and we knew everything then. Now, 30 years later, there's whole new breakdowns that wasn't being taught back then. So this truth is an evolving thing. So just because you think you may know everything, there's going to be something that you're going to realize or come across later to make you have to reevaluate what it is that you thought that you knew. Okay? So in that day when Hamashiach is amongst us, then we'll all see eye to eye, and then we'll all know everything in full, right? But what I do know is this, and I always say the same thing. As long as we don't differ on the basic principles of this knowledge, then I'm good. What are those basic principles that I'm talking about? I'm not affiliating myself with nobody that teaches all nations could be saved. That's out. No affiliation, no disrespect. Romans 16:17, mark those that cause division and offenses and separate yourself from them. Period. I'm not affiliating myself with nobody that teaches that you ain't got to keep the law, that the holy days are abolished, all that other garbage. I'm not affiliating myself with people like that because that's trash, straight up and down. However, there are other things that are not so much contingent on salvation. You know, whether you use an intercalary month this year or whether you're going to use the intercalary, like I know for a fact, we've been having conversations that we're going to use the intercalary month next year because based on the Passover date we have this year, next year Passover would fall sometime around like March, like March 13th or something like that, somewhere around there next year. If we was to go by the calendar that we have this year, keeping it on the 26th, next year would fall sometime around the 12th or 13th, which is too early. So that's when you would have the intercalary month, so forth and so on. So that's why I'm not contentious about stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, as long as you are a law keeper and you're keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, then I'm good with you. You see what I'm saying? That's my spirit. That's the spirit that I have. And I know a lot of people don't agree. What I'm gonna tell you. Right, Warrior Lord, that's what I say. That's what I say. The brothers that's having their Passover yesterday, today, or tomorrow, all praises, may the Most High Spirit dwell there, and brothers have a good Passover. And those that's happening next month, same thing. It's the same thing, all right? Israel is way too contentious. I keep saying it because it's true. Israel is way too contentious. And what it shows me, I'm gonna speak matter-of-factly. What it shows me is that when you have time to be so contentious about such irrelevant things, then obviously there's not enough work in the vineyard for you to do, or so you think. That you're not busy enough when you got time to be arguing and bickering over bullshit. You're not busy enough in this work, in the vineyard. There's so much going on, and especially brothers that's in positions of leadership. Like, I don't even understand how y'all even be involved in half the arguments that go on in this. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Do you guys know over the last 2 weeks how many phone calls I got from people who either they themselves or their family members are ravaged with cancer? You know how many phone calls I get a week with that stuff, fam? Do you guys know? You wouldn't even begin to understand or know the type of phone calls that I get day and night from people going through all different types of manners of illnesses, sicknesses, spiritual infirmities, people that have problems that was with them in the world, that they're coming into this truth and they have those problems still and they have nobody to talk to. Brothers and sisters that's having problems with your spouses, brothers and sisters that's having problems with your mother, your father, your children. I'm fielding those phone calls all day, every day. And so I realize how much work there is really to do. On top of teaching, on top of going to camp, on top of running a camp and all this other stuff, I'm taking all these phone calls. And family, guess what? Some of the people that's calling me is not in my camp. As a matter of fact, watch this. The majority of people that call me for counsel is not in my camp. And I don't turn them away. I don't turn them away. I still deal with them, regardless, because that's my brother, that's my sister. So I don't understand about all the contention and stuff that I see online. It's ridiculous, man. It really is. It really is. And it's shameful to to a large degree. Hold on a second. Let me drink some more of this sorrow. For those of y'all that's just coming in, hit the like button or dislike. I don't care. Just interact with the video one way or another. That's all. Let's boost the algorithm. Same thing for you brothers and sisters that's watching on Facebook. Same thing. Hit the like button or dislike button. I could care less. It's all good. It doesn't affect me one way or another. All right. Yeah. So I've been getting these phone calls like crazy all week, man. Specifically this week. And it kind of breaks my heart because it's like, hey, Shalom, Shalom How Music. I hope to see one of y'all at the Passover tonight. Did I text you the address? If I did not, text my cell phone. Let me know I didn't give you the address so I could give it to you in case one of y'all want to come. Either you or your brother, whatever. If one of y'all want to come, y'all are welcome. Claude, I'm supposed to text you. Divine, I'm supposed to text you as well. All right. And by the way, to the brothers that's coming to the Passover today, safe travels to you brothers that's on your way, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High for even being able to gather. It was this time last year that we had to cancel our Passover plans because of the C, the 1, the 9. Couldn't even have a gathering last year because of that. And we were supposed to do it in Baltimore last year. All right. This year, because of COVID restrictions, like every camp is doing their own Passover. It's not like last year where we had, you know, a whole bunch of camps coming together to do the Passover. This year, pretty much everybody's doing their own thing because of restrictions. How Music, we're starting Most High Will about 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Most High willing, you know. And I'm trying to stick to that because you know color people, right? Man, I don't think I've ever been to a Passover that started on time ever. So we're trying to turn over a new leaf. It's a new year, right? We're trying to turn over a new leaf and do things a little bit differently. So Most High willing, man, you know. And you know, really going back, I'm not gonna be too long because I got a lot to do today. I just wanted to come in and check in with the family. Hey, Marshall, shalom to you too as well, Lord. Yeah. So we're in a new year, family. This is a new year. And so the scriptures speak about purging out the leaven, right? Now, what I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, is this, which I'm going to go into later on at the Passover tonight. We know that there's a historical context in the scriptures to taking leaven out your house. It was a physical act that the Israelites did while they were in Egypt. And it was something that we did every year. We took the leaven out of our houses. It was part of the Passover memorial, part of the Passover ritual, whatever you want to call it, where you purged all the leaven out of your house. When we read in the New Testament, our Lord, HaMashiach Yahushua, gave us a more spiritual understanding of what leaven is. Leaven is hypocrisy as well. Yahushua spoke about the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy, right? Also, when you read the book of 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, Paul spoke to the church at Corinth about that leaven that was inside of them. You know what I'm saying? How you would have amongst you in your church a man that slept with his father's wife, which was wicked. And that man was still in the church. And they was waiting for Paul to come judge the matter. He said, I got to be there to judge the matter. I judged it already. That's hypocrisy to have somebody amongst you guys like that. So we got to purge out all the leaven from ourselves. But watch this. Even though it is a spiritual meaning to purge out the leaven, even after Christ spoke about that, Christ still kept the physical Passover too. How about that? How about that? Yes, he mentioned leaven as being hypocrisy, but that didn't negate the ritual, the history behind the Passover, and he still kept it. Same thing could be said for the Apostle Paul as well. While he mentioned purged out the leaven out of yourself, he also kept the physical Passover as well. See, there's a balance to this thing in this walk. It's like it's not one extreme or another. And over the last year or two, we've seen the whole other extreme now where people are taking the whole holy day, all the holy days, and throwing them in the trash. As though the Most High no longer wants honor for delivering us from Egypt. What kind of retarded thing is that? What kind of retarded thing is that to say? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The Most High no longer wants us to acknowledge him for delivering us from Egypt. He don't need that no more. Christ came down on the earth from heaven to abolish us. giving the Most High praise on the Passover for delivering us. And Christ came down to do away with that. What nation has ever done away with their holy days, their memorials? What nation has ever done that? It don't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense, man. The scriptures are about balance. There's a spiritual meaning behind all the holy days that the Most High gave us. Matter of fact, there's a spiritual meaning behind everything. I'm talking about from the Ark of the Covenant and the way it was built. I'm talking about the temple and the way it was built. I'm talking about the holy days and the statutes that are associated with the holy days. There is a spiritual meaning behind it, but yet and still, we are still supposed to actually keep these memorials too. But now we have a better or greater understanding of why we did what we did. That's all. Our forefathers didn't understand why they were doing what they were doing. They were doing it almost in a form of being religious, the same way the churches go to church every Sunday, and they don't know why they're going. And they've been in church for 30, 40 years and don't know other scriptures than Jesus wept and John 3:16, and they don't know nothing else. That's how people were keeping the holy days in the past. It was a ritual. It was passed down from generation to generation, and so they kept it just to keep it. But they didn't understand why. But how Mashiach Yahushua removed the veil, now we understand the spiritual meaning behind the holy day, which makes the holy day even more sacred. Which makes it even more potent, which should make you want to keep it and observe it even more. Because now we have the spiritual understanding of why we were doing what we were doing. The spiritual understanding was not given to us for us to take the holy day and toss it outside. That's not the point. Hold on, let me sip on some more of this sorrow. The problem is a lot of brothers lack balance, man. You lack balance. And a lot of brothers don't have no understanding either. I've gone over this 100 times already. I'm going to say it again. And if I got to do the PowerPoint, I did the PowerPoint on this channel. If I have to do it again, I'll do it again. When you read Galatians 5:1, when Christ said, stand fast in the liberty, when Paul said, stand fast in the liberty where Christ had made us free, Christ didn't free us from keeping the commandments. Christ did not free us from keeping the Passover. Christ freed us from being in bondage to that old covenant for which we were not keeping the commandments, for which we were supposed to be put to death. We were in the midst of idolatry in Galatia. In Galatia, we were in the midst of idolatry. So we were rightfully supposed to be put to death. We were in the midst of idolatry in Corinth. We were supposed to be put to death. When you read 1 Corinthians 6, verse 10, it speaks about 6 verse 9. It says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven? And it gives you a whole list of things that people do where they should not enter into the kingdom of heaven. And then the verse comes after and says, and such was some of you. Those things that they were doing in Corinth prior to learning about Hamashiach Yahushua, they were supposed to be put to death. But Christ came and died and freed us from being in bondage to that old covenant so that when we go into the wilderness, we can be brought into the bond of the new covenant. That's all it's talking about. That's it. That's it. Christ didn't free us from keeping the commandments. Christ didn't free us from keeping Passover, Day of Atonement, none of that stuff. And there's a difference between the Day of Atonement and an atonement offering. There's a difference. That's another thing. But if you feel as though when you read the epistles that you ain't got to keep it, that's your problem. And another thing, you know, sometimes once I start talking, y'all know I get going. There's another thing. Let me say this. If you don't understand the epistles of Paul in their historical context, I'm not just talking about reading it like a Sunday morning pork chop eating Christian. I'm talking about understanding it, what's written, and in its historical context, i.e., what was going on at the time, then you lost already. You're lost already. Don't you know? See, I'm going. I really should, you know what I'm saying, be in front of a computer doing a PowerPoint on this stuff, but I gotta go prepare the Passover. Don't you brothers and sisters know that when those epistles were being written to those Israelites that had synagogues all throughout Asia Minor, don't y'all know the temple was still standing? Don't you guys know the temple was still standing at that time? Don't you guys know that the Pharisees were coming down to Galatia and they were trying to get the church of Galatia to go back to those temple rituals when Paul had taught them about Yahushua? And the reason why the Pharisees were trying to get them to get back into those temple rituals is because the temple was still standing. And so they allowed themselves to be seduced or confused. That's why it says, "Oh, foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you?" Who was bewitching them? The Pharisees. That's who. Because the temple was still standing. So they were trying to get them to go back to that. There's a historical context behind all of that. Israelites be reading that thing like they're Christians. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Another thing, I'm just saying a whole bunch of stuff here because you guys got to do some studying and researching on your own. You know, we went up for those. Shout out to the brothers that's in the academy. We 12 weeks in, going on week 13. The brothers in the academy, I went over all this stuff with these brothers in PowerPoints and everything. And PowerPoints and everything. Don't y'all know that Acts 14 and Acts 15 is connected? They're connected. The only thing that separates them is the chapter and verse, so you could find the verses. That's why chapters and verses were added to the Bible later on, so you could find the verses. Acts 14 and Acts 15 is connected. So when it says certain brothers came down from Judea, like I always ask brothers, came down to where? Came down to where? Anybody know? Does anybody know? If you know, put it in the chat. And certain brothers came down from Judea. Came down from Judea to where? Anybody know? Put it in the chat. It's all right. It's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry. After Passover, I've been busy with the academy. Once the academy, no, not to the temple. The temple was in. No, they didn't come down to the temple. No, they came down from Judea to someplace. I just gave you a hint. Acts 14 is connected to Acts 15. So if you want to know where they came down to, you got to go back to Acts 14. And then when you see those cities that these men came down to, you got to open up another tab and look at the map and see where they are. And the pieces of, thank you, Marvin Moe. Thank you. Some of those places that you read in Acts 14 is in Galatia. Some of those places that you're reading at the end of Acts 14 is in Galatia. So when it picks up in Acts 15, it's letting you know that these Pharisees had gone down to Galatia to cause problems. Because the temple was still standing. Thank you, Phineas. That's right. Thank you. And when you begin to go into the epistles like that, you won't get lost like some of these Christian Israelites that's coming out now. You won't. You won't. That's why I spend weeks at a time in the academy that I'm doing, going over it with the new brothers. Because when you understand it from its historical context, nobody could tell you nothing. I'm just saying. I'll do a PowerPoint one day on here. I will. I'll do a PowerPoint one day on here for sure. The Pharisees were trying to get the churches, the Israelites that were in the diaspora, to go back to them temple rituals. That's all. Nothing crazy, nothing, you know, it's simple when you understand it. The churches make it hard, and then you have Israelites. I gotta put the quotation marks up. That's reading Christian commentaries and bringing it into the Israel. Reading Christian commentaries and bringing that trash into Israel. That's what's going on. Where you guys think half these doctrines come from? When I'm studying, I sit down and I look at some of the commentaries. And I'm like, that's where they got it from. Okay, now I see what you did. Okay, yeah, I see you. I see you. All of a sudden, the sun came out, and it is hot as hell in here. How's everybody doing? Is everybody all right? You guys okay? You know, I never been to, when I come on here, I always say to myself, I'm gonna get on and get off, or whatever like that. I ain't gonna say too much, but it'd be the spirit, man. You just see so much stuff in Israel, man. It blows my mind. I just don't understand. But anyway, it is what it is. Like I said, man, everybody, whenever you're keeping the Passover, brothers and sisters, just keep it in the spirit of the Most High in Christ. Let's try to make this a better year in Israel. I'm gonna tell y'all something I told my camp, right? I had a conversation with my camp Sunday. And I'm gonna tell y'all something I told my camp, right? I said, we're not, and this is no disrespect to nobody else. We cannot control everything that's going on in the rest of Israel. We can't. Sometimes we see everything that's going on like everybody else, and we're like, wow, but we can't control it. We only can control what we can control, which is what we're doing and the way that we carry ourselves. That's the only thing that we are in total control of. And I say the same to you, brothers and sisters, regardless of what affiliation, regardless of what camp you're in, whatever you're doing. You only can control how you present yourself to the world. So as we come into this new year, right, try your best. Each and every one of us should try our best to paint the best picture of what an Israelite is to the rest of the world. That's the only thing you can control. It's the highest compliment that somebody can pay you when you know somebody and then they find out that you're an Israelite, and the first thing they say is, well, damn, you're nothing like I thought you would have been. Or you're nothing like some other guys that I ran into. That's a compliment, because that means that you know how to carry yourself. You know how to balance things out. That's a compliment. Just try to be the best Israelite that you could be. That's all I can say. Carry yourself the best that you can carry yourself. If you're part of a congregation and your congregation, carry yourselves the best you can carry yourself. And don't worry about what's going on in other congregations. Like I always tell our kids, we're not worried about what anybody else is doing. We're not worried about what anybody else is saying. We have to worry about ourselves, and we're not perfect, and we make mistakes also, and we're trying to fix ourselves. That's what we're trying to do. Simple as that. If you allow yourself to look at what's going on everywhere else, you're going to become jaded. You're going to become angry. You're going to become this. You're going to become that, and you can't control it. Make sure that you have a good name. The scriptures speak about having a good name in the book of Proverbs. Make sure you have a good name. Strive to have a good name. Strive so that no matter when, if somebody go and ask anybody in Israel about you, whatever camp they go to, regardless of what it is, they hear the same thing. That's a good brother. Now, I respect that brother. That's a good brother. That's what you're supposed to be striving for, because that's what you can control. That's it. Everything else that goes on in Israel is out of our control. We can try to be brotherly. We can try to be peaceful with each other. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. Listen, to be quite frank, right? What you guys see on social media is not the first time that this stuff has happened. There's been a situation where people was in our spot that we've been teaching them for 15 years. We went out there. There was somebody in our spot. We talked to the brothers. He's like, listen, this is our teaching spot. It was handled amicably, and that was the end of it. That was the end of it. It doesn't always work out that way, but all praises to the Most High. In that particular situation, brothers respected that that's where we teach, and that was the end of it. 2 months ago, there was another situation that didn't even involve my camp at all. But the camp leader called me and asked me, could I make a call on his behalf to another camp that was teaching in their spot? And I did. And that was resolved. All praise to the Most High. It was resolved. Unfortunately, as we're seeing, it doesn't always work that way. It just doesn't always work that way. And so we control what we can control, and what you can't control, you can't control it. It is what it is. It is what it is. See, what it is I strive to maintain an amicable relationship with most camps in Israel. Like for the most part, I can pretty much speak to, I would say 9 out of 10 camps in Israel, I can speak to them because I always strive to maintain a peaceful relationship with everybody. I don't talk down on nobody. Whether I personally agree with some things, I see some things I don't see. I strive to keep an amicable relationship with everybody because the Christians, apologists are at war with each other too. You know what I'm saying? What happened to that Shield Squad thing? Gone because they're at war with each other. Let me turn the Salaki Akim. Let me just turn the my car on real quick because it's getting really hot in here. And I don't want the phone to overheat. Give me 1 second, y'all. Turn the AC on real quick. I don't want the phone to overheat. Christian apologists are at war with each other. And, you know, nobody talks about that. I seen a video on YouTube where somebody brought a gun into a church and held another person in the church at gunpoint. The Christian apologists don't have nothing to say about that. I done seen videos on YouTube where the church is about to riot. There's about to be a big riot in the church. The Christian apologists don't talk about that. But anytime something goes on amongst Israelites, it's like everybody got something to say, man. It is what it is. Like I say, there's nothing we can do to control it. Just be the best Israelite you can. And we're all still, even in trying to be the best person you can, you're gonna make mistakes. Don't the scriptures say that a just man falls 7 times and gets back up, and the number 7 is just completion. So you're gonna make mistakes. But it's all about when you make your mistakes, you acknowledge your mistakes, you own up to your mistakes, and you correct your mistakes, and you keep it pushing. And peradventure, when Hamashiach Yahweh shall come, you be delivered, and then you get perfect. You get that glorified body, and then you ain't gonna go off. Yeah, I know, right? Gedalia, man, these brothers ain't got no love, man. Can't hit the like button, nothing. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm not really gonna comment on. I'm gonna tell you, brothers and sisters, something, right? I'm not gonna comment on the situation. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I don't know what happened leading up to the situation. The camera turned on at a certain point. I didn't see everything. So I'm not gonna really comment on the whole situation at all. The only thing I'm gonna say is I'm praying that at some point cooler heads prevail and the situation could be resolved amicably and preferably offline. Like I said, we've gone to our campsite. There was people there. You guys never knew about that because it was handled amicably. We spoke. Brothers got out of our spot because we've been there forever and a day, respectfully, and that was the end of it. There was a situation at another camp that's not even my camp. I was called by that camp leader as being a senior brother in Israel and was like, "Yo, could you make a call for me?" I was like, "No problem. I don't know that they're gonna listen, but I'll make a call for you," and I did, and the situation was resolved. You see what I'm saying? Amicably. So hopefully the situation can be solved amicably. Right now it's online everywhere, everybody doing, whatever. But hopefully cooler heads prevail and it can be resolved amicably because watch this. At some point, we all get moved off the street anyway. At some point, we're all going to get kicked off being in the streets anyway. I don't know when, I don't know how long, but at some point, we're going to be all kicked off anyway because the streets don't really belong to none of us. So at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Anyway, hey, Dwayne, shalom, blessings to you and your family, bro. Good to see you. All right, so let me see now. Let me just remember, I'm getting old. I got to call Divine Prospect, right? I got to text Divine Prospect. I got to text How Music, And I got to text Claude the address for Passover tonight. 6 o'clock, brothers. Most High will. We're striving to start on time. Pray for us. We're striving to start on time. All right. Yeah. That's it. If you're having your Passover next month, Most High bless you too. It's all the same, man. It's all the same. Once again, you guys see me sipping on this. Some of y'all came in late. I went over this in my last video. This is sorrel, aka hibiscus. Great, great, great medicinal purposes. Look it up. I went over it last video. If you don't want to do the research yourself, go back to my last live. I went over this. This is on my website, grassrootbotanical.com. I see the moderator in there. Put the link inside the chat. Grassroot Botanical. I'm drinking sorrel hibiscus right now. It's infused with ginger. Good for circulation. You brothers that are suffering from erectile dysfunction. Good for circulation. Okay. Pimento seeds, so forth and so on. Sorrel, hibiscus. Very good. Get up on that, family. I'm also I have the tincture for moringa right here. Moringa oil. Okay. And I take that every day. Like I told you, every time I go live, I'm going to show you guys what it is that I do with the herbs I take, so forth and so on, and give you guys an idea of what they do. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate you, Lord. All praise to the Most High. Israel, I love y'all. May the Most High bless and keep each and every one of y'all. This is your brother Priest Dan, representing Lions of Israel. For those of y'all coming to Passover, I will see you tonight. And outside of that, I say shalom.
I want to praise you, Yahweh. I want to thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful, Yahweh. I want to thank you, Yahweh.
For the promise, life is a blessing, and life is a lesson. Life is a setback, and life is progression. Life is uneasy at times, life is comfortable. Life will lift you up, and at times, life will humble you. Life is a gift, you better thank the Lord for it. Every chance you get, someone is less fortunate. Life goes in circles, life throws you curveballs. Life can be deceiving like preachers in the church halls. Life isn't promised. If I could be honest, the fact that I'm alive, that time has me astonished. Cause I came from the underground, being tossed around, being lost and found. Now they adore the sound of the priest, far from a nuance. Verses are proverbs, written's are the new songs. Another song for the blocks and the avenues. Everything is plain, I don't speak to them in parables.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh.
I wanna praise you.
I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
For the power, I see the world through different eyes. Every Sunday got the preacher telling different lies, hearing things that I really couldn't visualize. Should've listened, Big said you'd be hypnotized. I was a victim too, I say respectfully. They all up in the soup, don't know the recipe. Talking about I'm not who I was bred to be. Count me out, man, who made you the referee? Trying to get stripes, trying to cloud chase. At 19, I made an about face. Thanks to Christ, it's also about grace. And they lied when they said it ain't about race. But that's another song, I ain't the first to tell you. Woke up on a deeper and a surface level. Learned the laws and the Lord's changed my attitude. And this song is to show you how a gratitude. I'm so grateful.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh. I wanna thank you,
Yahweh.
I'm so grateful,
We're so grateful.